Hey, my name is Michelle. I'm 28 years old. In the last few months, I found out what the true colors of my husband were. They weren't very pretty. Let me start by telling you about him. I met my now ex-husband, Aaron, when I was freshly out of college through a dating app. I was bored and all my friends moved away after they graduated, and I wanted to be in a relationship. Over text, Aaron was great. He made me laugh and he seemed to be very successful. So we met up and he was just as great in person. We ended up going on a lot more dates until we finally made our relationship official. One thing you must know about me is that I owned, and still own, my own house. I know you're thinking that I must have been very young to own a house. I was given that house as an inheritance from my late grandmother. She loved me because I was her only grandkid and she left me the best gift of all. Anyway, another thing you should know is that Aaron is 3 years older than me, so you'd expect him to have a better handle on his life than I did, right? Wrong. When I met him, Aaron was drowning in debt. Since I was in a much better position and knew how to handle my finances, I offered to help him clear his debts. This was after being together for a year. I let him move into my home so he could save on rent and instead pay his debts off. Thankfully, he managed to do it, and he was a great person to live with. Aside from that, I also got to meet his mother, Grace. Now, I knew from the moment I met her that she was not my biggest fan. But I didn't let that affect me because I thought she just needed some time to come around to me. I thought that as time went on and as we spent a lot of time together that she'd like me. I did just that, and I thought Grace was actually beginning to like me, and I was really happy about it. Well, I was wrong. When Aaron and I hit the 3-year mark of our relationship, Aaron proposed to me. I was so happy about it. I couldn't wait to spend the rest of my life with him, and I couldn't wait to tell everybody in my life. Since Grace lived closest to us, Aaron and I decided that she would be the first person we told about our engagement. We invited her to dinner at her favorite restaurant, something we never did, so she knew that we had something to tell her. When she came in, she greeted both Aaron and me warmly. "Hi, Mom." "Hi, Grace. How are you?" "Hello, I'm good. I'm a little anxious about why you've called me out to dinner tonight." "Ah, there's nothing to be worried about." "Yeah, we have some amazing news, but I think we can wait till after the dinner." "Oh, come on. It's killing me. Just tell me already." All right. The good news is that Michelle and I are engaged." "Oh. Yeah, and we're getting married in 6 months." "Wow, congratulations." "What? What happened? Are you upset about something? Is the wedding happening too soon for your liking?" "I don't think Mom cares about it. I don't think she's upset about it either. Let's just have our dinner, shall we?" "No, Grace is clearly upset about something." "Just drop it, Michelle." "Ignore him, Grace. What's bothering you? Why do you seem so upset after we announced our engagement?" "Do you really want to know?" "No, she doesn't." "Yes, I do. Please tell me." "I don't like you, Michelle." "What?" "Yeah, you're not good enough for my son. You're not pretty enough. You don't have a good enough personality, and you're boring. Aaron can do so much better than you, and I don't know why he's settling for you." "Oh, wow. Have you always felt this way about me?" "Yes. The only thing you have going for you is that you're young and you own a house. None of that is important though, which is why I think Aaron can do so much better." "That's enough, Mom." "Look, sweetie, I get that you're old enough to know what you like, but seriously, this one? I have friends who have daughters your age who look a million times better than her." "I'm still sitting here, and I can hear everything you're saying, you know. No offense, but I think you should hear this. You need to get prettier and get a better personality to marry my son. Mom, I love her and she is who I'm choosing to marry. You need to respect it. I'm not asking you to like her, but I am asking you to respect my choice. Do you get it? Or should we end this dinner? Fine. It's your life. Do whatever you want. Don't come crying to me when you realize that I was right. Let's continue with this dinner. You know what? You two can go ahead and have dinner. I'm not in the mood to eat, and I don't want to dampen the mood. I left before either of them could say another word. I couldn't believe that all the years I put in an effort to be liked by Grace were of no use. She hated me, and she was very outright about it. That stung. What made it worse was the realization that Aaron knew, but he purposely hid it from me. He let me get humiliated that way. He knew how happy I was when I thought that Grace was starting to like me, and he just let me believe it. I got home that night, and I just sobbed until I fell asleep. When I woke up, Aaron was still asleep, and I had a job to get to, so the next time we talked was that night. Aaron apologized for Grace's comments, and I confronted him about hiding the truth from me. He apologized and told me that he was just trying to protect my feelings, and I forgave him. In hindsight, that should have been my cue to leave. But I stuck around because I loved him. Anyway, after we got married, Grace and I barely spoke. I knew she didn't like me, so I didn't see why I should have had to be around her. I never stopped Aaron from frequently meeting her because that would have been cruel of me. But I did know that the two of them suddenly got a lot closer after Aaron and I got married. Aaron was constantly talking to Grace, and they would talk for literally hours. Whenever I asked him what they talked about, he would brush me off and change the subject. Aside from that, I also noticed that Aaron was beginning to slack off with his household chores. It was getting exhausting to pick up after him, but whenever I told him to do his share of the chores, he'd get all huffy and tell me that he was tired. Once again, I let it go because I loved him, and he was generally a great husband aside from that. And then came the fateful day. Aaron and I were spending our weekend in when he got a phone call. I didn't see the caller ID when he picked up the call, but Aaron got up to go into the other room and talk to the person. When he came back, he seemed upset. Who was on the call? It was Jenna. Your cousin, Jenna? Yeah. What did she say? Turns out that my aunt's in the hospital in critical condition. What? Why? She was diagnosed with stage 4 lung cancer, and she's currently in the ICU. Oh my gosh, that's horrible. Yeah, I never thought she'd have to suffer in such a horrible manner. I mean, she does not deserve this at all. Oh, darling, I'm so sorry that you're going through all of this, but I'm sure that the doctors are doing their absolute best to make sure she'll live. I know, I didn't speak too much about her, but I really did enjoy her company. Spending my summers at her place while growing up was the only thing I looked forward to every year, even more than Christmas. She must have been an amazing woman, and she will continue to be. I'm sure that she'll pull through. It just feels so impossible. Jenna was hysterical on the phone. She told me that there's very little chance of my aunt surviving. Do you have something that you want to do in mind? Something that will help you feel a little better? I don't know. Nothing's making sense in my head right now. Everything feels so fuzzy and weird. I get that. Being in the unknown about an important situation is a very uneasy feeling. How about you talk to your mother? Oh God, I didn't even think about what my mother must be going through. The two of them were thick as thieves. There was not a single thing these two didn't do together when we lived closer. Oh no. Why don't you invite Grace over and the two of you can figure out what you want to do? I'll take care of everything else. Are you sure that's okay? I know you don't necessarily have the best relationship with my mom. Of course, I'm sure it's okay. I know that I don't have a good relationship with Grace, but I also know that I won't be able to provide you the same kind of comfort that Grace will. I didn't know your aunt well enough to be able to share your grief. Your mom can do that for you. Thank you for being there for me, darling. Of course. Now, call Grace. If she needs me to pick her up, I'll do that too. Just because Grace and I didn't have a great relationship, I didn't see why I had to be a monster towards her, so I let her stay with us. I picked her up and helped her settle into our place. I didn't know much about Erin's aunt, Jane, but I knew that she was very loved by both Grace and Erin because they both seemed hollow after they heard the news. On the first 2 nights of Grace staying with us, I left Grace and Erin alone. The two of them kept to themselves and barely spoke when I was around. At night, they'd spend hours talking in Erin's office. I thought that they were trying to figure out what they wanted to do, and also talking about how they would deal with things if Aunt Jane's health went south. So I let them have their space. The next night, over dinner, I decided to break the silence and ask them if they had made any plans. So, have you guys decided on what you want to do? I think we have, Erin. Yeah, Mom and I have decided that we should fly out to see my aunt and be with our family. All right, when are we leaving? We? I'm sorry, but you're not coming along. I'm not? But why? Because we want this to be a family thing. I'm part of your family too. I'm your son's wife. Yes, you are family, but this is a bit different, you know. How is it different? You're not very close with the rest of my family, and we just want it to be a very close family kind of thing. Besides, you don't even know my sister that well, and I doubt she'd want a stranger by her side when she's going through something this intense. Oh, all right. Is there anything I can help you guys out with? I'm good, but thank you for offering. Please don't take this the wrong way, darling. You are a part of our family. This is just a very intimate thing. I guess I get it. You don't have to over-explain it. I just want you to know that I'll be here if you need me to. I know that, and thank you so much. So, when do you guys leave? We're leaving tomorrow morning. Oh? Did you book your tickets already? Yeah, we wanted to get there as soon as possible, so we booked the tickets first thing after I got here. And did you guys not think to at least tell me that before? Don't make a big deal out of this. I'm not. It just feels weird that the two of you made a decision like that without even telling me. Why do we have to tell you anything about what we want to do during our family emergency? I don't think you have to. But it would have been nice. I mean, I've been helping you two out, and since you didn't want me to come, you could have told me before you booked the tickets. Look, we're still in shock about my aunt's sudden decline in health, and I guess it just slipped our minds, okay? We'll make sure to keep you more informed going forward. Our flight is at 11 in the morning, so we'll leave by 8:30, okay? All right, let me know when you get there. Don't forget. I won't. All right, well, let's have dinner. Sure. I'm not going to lie. I was hurt. I mean, I know I shouldn't have felt entitled to their plans, but after being so considerate and after picking up after them for 2 days, which, by the way, was not easy because they loved to be messy, I at least expected them to tell me that they were planning on leaving. But like every time, I let it go. I wished both of them a safe journey the next day, and I reminded Erin to text me when he reached there. I got a text about 3 hours later telling me that they'd reached, and then after that, I could not get in touch with Erin or Grace at all. Both of their calls went to voicemail, and my texts were left undelivered. By nighttime, I was very worried, but I decided to sleep because I figured they were probably busy getting along with their family. The next day, I waited until the afternoon to try again, and it was the same thing. I was really freaking out. I took the rest of the day off from work and made my way back home. At home, I found a book of contact numbers in Aaron's desk drawer, so I called Aunt Jane, but her daughter Jenna picked up. Hello? Hi, it's Michelle. Is this Jenna? Yes. Hi, Michelle. How are you? Everything all right? Yes, everything's fine here. What about you? How are you doing after, Oh, that's very sweet of you to ask. Mom had been suffering for too long, so I guess I'm not even that upset that she's gone now. It's a good thing, because at least this way Mom's not in pain anymore. Gone? What do you mean? I thought she had only just got diagnosed with cancer. What? No, my mom got diagnosed with cancer 6 months ago, and she passed away 3 days ago. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry for your loss. It's all right. Like I said, it's a lot better this way. Past few days have been a bit hectic because of the funeral and all, but it's okay. Is there anything I could do to help you out? No, but thank you for the offer. Surprisingly, Aunt Grace didn't come though. Wait, what? Yeah, you'd expect the one person my mom loved the most to be there, but I guess Aunt Grace had other things to do. What are you talking about? Aaron and Grace just left this morning to be there. They told me they had reached. Okay, I think something's going on here, because I can promise you that neither of them are here. I would know. This is a small town and everyone knows everyone, so I would have heard from at least someone that the two of them are here. But why would they lie about something so horrible? In the last 3 or 4 years, my mom and Auntie Grace had a bit of a falling out. Mom never told me why, but I'm going to guess it's related to them lying to you. They had a falling out? Oh yeah. Auntie Grace came over one day when she was in town for their usual tea time, and then they got into a huge argument. I was out at the time, but when I got back home, my mom was calling Auntie Grace a pathetic, manipulative homewrecker. I had no idea what that meant, and my mom was in no mood to talk about it after. I don't think they spoke much to each other after that, except for the holidays. Oh, wow. That is weird. I'm so sorry that I dumped all of this on you. You have enough to deal with. No, it's okay, believe me. This has been bothering me for a while, and I'm only sorry that you're in the middle of this. Maybe you could find out what's going on and keep me in the loop? All right. I'll let you know. If I find something that I don't like, I might need your help. Of course. I'm only one phone call away. Thank you. Take care then. I was shaking. I don't know with what emotion, because I was overwhelmed with anger, confusion, betrayal, and a host of other explosive emotions. I couldn't believe that Aaron had lied to me, especially about something as serious as the health of his beloved aunt. I knew I needed to get to the bottom of the lie, so I sat down and racked my brain about how to do it, because Aaron had carried his laptop and his phone with him, so I couldn't access either. But then I remembered Aaron's iPad. It had all the information that his laptop and phone had, and he left it at home. I ran to his office and pulled out his iPad. My fingerprint was logged into the iPad, so it was easy for me to unlock it and access his passwords for various things. After going through his messages, I found texts between Grace and Aaron where they talked a lot of smack about me. That dated to just 4 months after Aaron and I got married. Apparently, everything I did or said annoyed him. That was very hurtful to read, because for the last 2 years he had always told me how he was the luckiest man in the world to have found me. He would tell me every day how much he loved me, and he always did the sweetest things for me without me ever having asked him. Was that all just a lie? After that, I looked through his credit card transactions and found tickets to Los Angeles. Now, I don't know about you, but California and Pennsylvania are not close at all. There was something else happening here, and I needed to find out more. So I went through his messages with Grace again and found nothing. I decided to go through his socials and found his chats with one of his online gamer friends. There, He outlined his upcoming trip with his mother, where she was setting him up with her friend's hot daughters, so he could finally date someone attractive. Apparently, this friend didn't know he was married because he seemed excited for Aaron. Finding this out was more devastating than reading the chats between Grace and Aaron. I couldn't believe what I'd found. My entire marriage was a lie. I couldn't function after I found out all of that. I think that was the closest I got to being in a state of catatonia. I don't know how or when, but the rest of the day passed. The next morning, when I woke up, I decided I was not going to wallow in my grief. Instead, I was going to take revenge and teach both of them a lesson for being so disgusting. The very first thing I did was file for a divorce. Next thing I did was find the recording of Aaron telling me that his aunt was in critical condition at the hospital. I had security cameras all over my house because I was a single lady living in a house, so I had them installed in the common areas as well for added protection. I also grabbed a clip of Aaron and Grace telling me that they were flying back home to be with their family. I then took screenshots of Aaron's chats with Grace and his gamer friend. I made a file of it all, and I sent it to Jenna. I called her after and explained what had happened, and she was furious, not only for me, but also that they would use her mother's name to help Aaron cheat. We figured that Grace must have told Auntie Jane that she planned to separate Aaron and me by setting him up with someone else, and that was why the two of them had a falling out. Anyway, Jenna sent the files containing the evidence of Aaron's and Grace's disgusting behavior to the rest of the family, who she was sure was going to disown both of them. I was not satisfied with that much. I went through Aaron's emails and found out that he had told his boss that he had a family emergency and had to take a few days off. His boss was gracious enough to give him a week off. I felt like it wasn't right for his boss to be lied to as well, so I wrote him an email that detailed the truth, and I attached the proof of Aaron's chat with his gamer friend as well. It didn't take long for his boss to reply and tell me that he was grateful to me for telling him the truth and that he would take strict action against Aaron. With that, I was satisfied with my revenge. All that was left to do was to wait for Aaron and Grace to come back. They came back 3 days later, and by then they had faced the results of the revenge I had executed against them. I knew that because they stormed into the house and Grace yelled at me. "You jerk! What have you done?" "Welcome back, guys. How's Auntie Jane? I heard she was feeling a little cold on account of her being dead for the last week." "You're joking about my aunt's death. Do you know how insensitive you sound right now?" "Don't worry. I doubt she wouldn't appreciate that joke. I ran the joke by Jenna and she approved." "You've been speaking to Jenna?" "Yeah. I got concerned about Auntie Jane, and since neither of you were replying to me, I called to get an update. Imagine my surprise when I found out that you two lied to me about Aunt Jane's health, and that you two didn't even go there." "So what? You just told everyone about things that happened behind our closed doors." "Do you know how many calls I've gotten? Calling me a disgusting person? Do you know how many family members have shunned me now? You and I both know that you are responsible for this. You were the one who convinced Aaron that he could do better than me, so you used your sister's death as an excuse to take him on a trip somewhere, so he could meet someone. I was right, though. You're a monster. You've turned my family against me." "Sure, Grace. If blaming me is what will help you sleep better at night, then go ahead. And before I forget, here, Aaron, these are for you." "Divorce papers? You have got to be kidding me. You can't divorce me." Yes, I can. You willingly went on a trip with Grace so you could cheat on me. I don't want to be with someone like that." "No, I mean that I should be the one that hands you these papers. You cost me my job. I got fired because you couldn't keep your mouth shut." "I was only doing the right thing. I didn't think it was fair for your employer to be under the idea that you were experiencing a family emergency when in reality you were trying to cheat on me. That's just unfair and not a quality for a good employee to possess. How dare you ruin our lives this way? What is wrong with you? You can't ask me that question. You need to ask yourself that question. What about me? Was so bad that you had to convince Aaron to cheat on me, Grace? And Aaron, what about our relationship? Did it upset you so much that you agreed to cheat on me? And what made the both of you think that it was okay to use a close family member's name as an excuse for you to do something so disgusting? You are no one to talk to or question us about our morality. I think I am allowed to do that when both of you tried your best to hurt me in the worst way possible. But you know what you didn't count on? Me being vindictive and petty. So go ahead and enjoy your new life. Aaron, make sure you find a woman who'll be okay with being with a mama's boy who can't think without his mama's help. I've packed your things up. You can either leave or sleep on the couch. I don't want to spend another second looking at your face. You ruined my life and you have no remorse for it. You're a psychopath, says the cheater. Take your things and leave. To this day, I still don't understand how Aaron and Grace could think that I did them wrong when they were the ones who lied to me and used the name of a dead person to do it. But after that conversation, Aaron picked his things up in a huff and left. Grace sneered at me before she turned around and left too. Even though I wanted to change the locks to the house, I didn't want that to get in the way of the divorce, so I let it be. But Aaron didn't bother to reach out to me after that. The only way we communicated was through our lawyers. Other than the house, we had to divide the rest of our things. Aaron was not cooperative at all, and he fought for everything down to our snacks in the pantry. Yeah, Aaron thought it would be a better way to get back at me. I didn't mind it because I knew that it would hurt his pocket more than it would cause me mental anguish. But during the divorce, Jenna and I ended up talking a lot and we got very close. So even though my marriage ended badly, I still got a friend out of the whole ordeal. She told me that the rest of her family was very shocked by Grace and Aaron's behavior. Turns out the whole family had various issues with Grace and Aaron, but only remained close out of obligation because they knew that if they ostracized either of them, Auntie Jane would also leave because she would not leave her sister's side. This was the final straw for them, and they decided to never keep in contact with Grace and Aaron. Some of them even reached out to me to check on how I was doing, and I ended up also making some really good connections through the process. After the divorce, though, I'm learning to finally live life freely. I no longer have to deal with the anxiety of having someone blatantly dislike me for stupid reasons, and I didn't have to pick up after a man-child. I know that the divorce ate through almost all of Aaron's savings only because I knew how much he had saved. Aaron had at best another month to find a job, and in today's economy, I wondered how he'd accomplish that. Not my problem, though, and for now, I want to enjoy my newfound freedom. Thank you so much for listening to my story.